One of our family jokes was one time we asked one of our children what they wanted for their birthday or for Christmas. I forget which one it was, and they said, "Well, how much were you thinking of spending?" And it makes a difference what you ask for depending on what you think the person might be able to do. For example, if you your birthday's coming up and you're uh, thinking about what you want for your birthday, it makes a difference if you're going to think of something that your 10-year-old child could buy you or something that um, your parents could buy you, or if you're a child, if you're thinking about what your 10-year-old brother could buy you or what your parents could buy you, it just makes a difference what you're going to ask for. When we lived in Dryden, I was on the board of the local food bank, and the food bank was a small volunteer ministry. We had no paid staff or a very low budget operation. The only expenses we had basically were we rented a space in a commercial building to store the food and do the distributions. But it was an amazing ministry. We were collecting food from the grocery stores that they were going to get rid of. Things were getting close to the expiry date and so on. But we were giving food to about 90 families a week out of the food bank, and we it was a Christian ministry. We were um, praying for people. There was a lot of conversations that happened as people came in, and it was just a very effective ministry. As a board, we had ideas about things that we would like to do, and the volunteers had ideas about things they would like to do because they would have liked to have Bible studies, they would have liked to have financial management classes, they would have liked to have cooking classes, but we had no room. The space we had was so full, just storing food, that we didn't have any room to do that. So we started making plans to get our own building. And we started looking at buildings to see how much it would cost. And at the time, it looked like a building that would be suitable would cost maybe around $150,000. So we started a building fund, and we visited people and talked to people in Dryden about it, and um, worked on raising money for a building fund. Well, we weren't doing too well. Money wasn't coming in very much. We got up to about $3,000, and there were uh, some people who said, "Well, I want to help, but when you get close, let me know, and then I'll help." And so we knew that people didn't think we were going to be able to raise $150,000, and they wanted to help, but they didn't want to give us money and then just have it sitting in a bank account somewhere and never get used. We realized people don't have confidence in our ability to get $150,000 to raise money, and so we got to thinking, we need someone to kickstart our building fund. We need someone to give us a gift, say $25,000, and then that would kickstart our building fund, and then people would say, okay, they're going to make it. And then we could go back to the people who say they want to help, and we could say, okay, we're on our way, we're going to make it, this is going to happen. You want to give, so you don't want to miss this opportunity to help, so you want to do it now. So we were praying for someone to give us that gift of $25,000 to kickstart our building fund. During that time that we were praying for that, uh, there was a trade show in Dryden, and the food bank had a booth at the trade show. As board members, we took turns manning the booth at the trade show. I was at the booth at the trade show one day, and this man came by, and he's like, "Oh, the food bank. Tell me about the food bank." So I told him some about the food bank, and he said, "Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, I always wanted to know about the food bank. What do you guys need?" I said, "Well, can use craft dinner, we can use macaroni and cheese. And he was like, well, how much macaroni and cheese do you need? I said, I don't know, but I'll find out and I'll let you know. Give me your phone number. And so he gave me his phone number and said, I'll find out and I'll call you and let you know. I said, all right, let me know how much macaroni and cheese you need, how often you need it, and I'll make sure you have macaroni and cheese. Okay, good. He said, what else do you need? I said, well, spaghetti. We can always use spaghetti. He's like, how much spaghetti do you need? And I said, I don't know, but I'll find out when I call you. I'll let you know how much macaroni and cheese and how much spaghetti we need. So he's like, okay. And then he turned and started to walk away. And then he turned around and he said to me, do you know who I am? And I was like, no, I know I've seen you around town, but I don't really know who you are. And he said, well, my wife and I have been in town for a few years and we're Christian people and I own a restaurant and I always thought that the food bank would be uh, a, a good place for us to give because we want to give back to the town. The town's done good, well for us, and we would like to give back to the community. And I always thought the food bank would be an ideal way for us to do that because I'm in the food business, you're in the food business, and it's just a good fit. So I said, well, do you want to know what we really need? And he said, yeah, that's what I've been trying to find out for the last 20 minutes, and you won't tell me. I said, well, what we really need is a building. And I explained to him what we want to do and how we need a building for to do what we want to do. And he was saying, well, how much is a building going to cost? We said, well, we think around $150,000. We've been looking at buildings and we can get a building that would be suitable for around $150,000. He said, how much money do you have? I said, we have $3,000. And he just laughed. He said, you have $3,000 and you're looking at buildings. I said, yeah, we are because we know God's going to give us some money. We just don't know when, but we want to be ready. So when he gives us some money, we're ready. We know what we want. We're ready to buy a building. So he said, well, what's the problem? I said, well, the problem is people don't think we're going to make it. We're a very low budget organization, and people don't think we're going to be able to raise $150,000. So people are slow to give. So we're praying for somebody to give us a one-time gift of $25,000 because that would kickstart our building fund, and then people would give, and we would be able to buy a building. So he said, okay, my wife and I will do that. And I said, I'm not joking. And he said, I'm not joking either. I gave you my phone number, right? I said, yeah. He said, okay, call me when you're ready for the 25,000 and we'll do that. So I did, and he did. And today the food bank has their own building. You know, sometimes when we're praying, I think that when we're done praying, God would like to turn to us and say, do you know who I am? Because we're asking for all the little things in life, um, and God likes for us to do that. He likes to hear what we're thinking about, and even our small requests are not too small or too trivial for God. But sometimes we're just asking for, oh, don't let it rain on today because we want to have a picnic, and don't let me have a flat tire, and don't let me get sick. And we just, we have our kind of routine everyday requests, um, and I think when we're done with that, sometimes God would just like to say, do you know who I am? Because we probably all have big things in life, things that are too big for anybody on earth to take care of. And there are times when I think God just would like to hear us bring those things and have faith that He can answer even those prayers. So bring your small requests to God and the big ones as well. Don't just ask for the spaghetti and macaroni and cheese in life. Ask for the things that you really need.